Hello, and welcome to Chapter 11 on romantic communication. What is romantic communication? What comes to mind when we think of romantic communication? Many of us might think about conversations between spouses or lovers. Some of us might think about flirting. If you do think about this or many other things, then you're probably right. But romantic communication is best broken down into 5 things called the 5 love languages. This includes words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, receiving gifts, and physical touch. To sum it up, it's the meaning that we assign to our emotions. Chapter 11 provided us with an example of romantic communication at work, using an example of a former teacher and an interaction between her and a student. In this example, the teacher learned a few valuable lessons about romantic communication, even in working with students. In this scenario, the teacher had a student who would not participate in class, would not engage in class, and otherwise did not seem to take her education seriously. As a result, the teacher tended to show her less attention and did not greet her with a physical touch as she did with her other students. When the teacher had an opportunity to speak with this student, the student actually commented that the lack of physical touch between her and the teacher, as opposed to how she interacted with other students, caused her to feel like the teacher did not like her and allow her to feel justified in not engaging in class. 3 things that the teacher learned through this situation is that students want and need romantic communication. By incorporating physical touch and words of affirmation into her lessons, her students' lives and educations were enhanced as a result. Also, she learned how to create immediacy by using verbal words of encouragement. A second example that we were provided in chapter 11 was the story of a woman who was in a abusive marriage with someone who abused her emotionally and physically. This woman was able to allow romantic communication to help her to heal from the trauma that she experienced in that marriage. She began school after she finalized her divorce, and in school, much as we are, she was able to learn about romantic communication and as such began the healing process from her divorce. Romantic communication allowed her to heal and feel less alone. She used romantic communication with herself. She allowed herself to also engage in romantic communication with others and understood that that is the type of communication that was healthy. There are many factors that influence how we communicate and interpret the messages of others. 2 big factors are race and gender. A lot of the research on interpersonal communication, however, does not usually include data from people of color. Self-disclosure rates for African American males was lower than any other group when surveyed. What is self-disclosure? Self-disclosure is the information that we give about ourselves to others. In your relationships, do you find that you disclose less or more in your friendships than in your romantic relationships? Communication is a two-way process of reaching a mutual understanding. Romantic communication refers to the communication between you and the significant other in terms of building a relationship. Again, this assigns meaning to our emotions. The words that we say and the way that we say them all play a role in how we communicate romantically. In this communication, there is some diversity and differences. We may express our emotions when we're happy and sad, vulnerable, jovial, or any other feelings that we have. During disagreements, we have a chance to communicate differently and more effectively so that ultimately our romantic communication can continue. There are also nonverbal communication, such as gifts, love letters, or a loving embrace. Cultural differences may alter the way that romantic communication is given and interpreted. Depending on the background of the parties, the significant others, different words might have different meanings and different perceptions. Generational differences, of course, can play a role as well. The communication that our parents gave to each other would be totally different from the communication that we give each other romantically in 2019. Thank you very much for watching.